Hello everybody, so this is a little video to show you how to make this fantastic carpet bag. I love it. So these are the dies that you're going to get in your pack. So all 4 dies will make this bag. Plus you're getting full written and pictorial instructions as well, and very detailed. And the great thing is, in this video I follow the steps that are in the instructions. So hopefully you'll be able to follow the pictures, the written word and me. So this is the bag that you're going to make. It's absolutely glorious. Obviously you choose the fabrics that you like. It's got this gorgeous zip that goes all the way across here, and it has like little hanging pieces on the sides as well. I quite like that. And just get hold of the zip pull there and just take it all the way across the bag. Really big and roomy. I think you're going to absolutely love making it. So that is our new carpet bag. So the first thing you need to do is to prepare all your fabric, fold in half, ready to take your dies, and just layer them up. You can cut 2 or 3 layers at least. You just try with your machine, see how you get on. Just make sure the edges of those dies go over the top of your folds. I always secure mine with tape, and I always cut mine on a metal plate, but that's purely optional. So that's the bottom part of the bag. And then we'll have a quick look at the top part of the bag, and this is the lining fabric you can see now. So there we are. So same principles, just hang the die over the edge of the 2 folds of the fabric, tape it down if you think you need to, and then you can cut it straight away. And if you're using wadding or foam, I would cut those separately as well. Now when it comes to the actual zip panels and zip stand die, then this you just need to follow the guideline in the instructions. So you just need to fold it. I measured that first just to make sure it was going to take the die and it's the right length. So I always like to see the die, so I put it cutting side down onto my main fabric and I tape it in place. That way when I start to fold it doesn't wriggle. So I've already pre-folded, you can see that. So I've gone down to that last those little prongs, can you see, sticking out there, and the edge of the dies just goes over the edge of the folds of the fabric. And then I tape it down again just to secure it, make sure that it's going to cut absolutely beautifully and not wriggle when I put it through the machine. So here we are, there it is, it's all cut and ready to start stitching with. So you can see I've just removed all my sticky tape, take it out of the die and unfold it. Then I'm going to measure it again just to make sure that it's the length that it says in the instructions, and it just needs a little smidgen off the end there, so give it a little trim. That's it, that's all, and it's ready to go. And now I would give that a good iron to make sure that all those lovely creases come out. So to actually attach the zip panels, the zip stands, then you're just going to stitch around those 3 sides, the 2 narrow ones and the long. And I just want to offer that up just to make sure that those zip stands are going to fit okay, which they do. And once stitched, I'm just snipping those corners off ready for turning through. And you can see I've stabilised that fabric. You can use wadding, you can use foam, you can use whatever you like to create that beautiful effect. And then all I'm going to do is turn this through. I'm going to get my pokey tool in there and just make sure that those corners are turned out beautifully. And you can top stitch this if you wish. There's no problems with that at all. It won't affect anything else as you're making the bag. So just give that a nice neat iron. So here we go, this is the zip. So again, measure it. It tells you in the instructions how long. So it wants to be 16.5 inches. So I'm just measuring and cutting that little piece off just to make sure it's exactly as the pattern says. So yeah, 16.5. So these are the little end pieces that we put on our zip, and it just neatens everything off, and it means that when you look at the bag you've got those zip pulls hanging over the edge of the bag, and they're super neat. Very easy to do. You can see what I've done. Folded over the 2 outside edges 1/4 inch and then brought those 2 raw edges to the middle, encasing the end of the zip over. I'm going to hold that with a clip, and then I can pop that under my machine and just stitch that So I'm going to top stitch that all the way around. So once that's done, I need to now put the zip panels in. So I'm just folding over each end of each piece 1/4 inch. So that's the 2 outside pieces that are stabilised, and then the 2 lining pieces there, which is actually calico, nice lightweight calico, really suitable for lining. It's up to you. You can have really bright fabric or keep it quite neutral. So each one of those pieces is going to be turned over about 1/4 inch. That is the seam allowance throughout the whole bag making process, until you get to the point where you think, you know what, maybe a wee bit more than 1/4 inch is appropriate, perhaps when you put the whole bag together. But you see how you go with that. So just the last piece there. And then I'll show you how to put the zip in. It's actually a technique we use a lot, so hopefully you've seen a few of these videos now and you've got the gist of putting the zip in, and it really does make a neat job. So there's the lining, and that's now right side up. And so I'm putting the wrong side of the zip down on top of that and trying to get that just about in the middle with those 2 tabs hanging over equally. And then the right side of the main fabric facing down on the right side of the zip. And again, we're going to make a lovely sandwich. Clip that together, pin it together, tack it if you want, whatever's easiest for you. And then you're just going to pop your zipper foot on your sewing machine and stitch all the way along from the left to the right, or vice versa, whatever's comfortable for you. So from the left through to the right. And then you're going to repeat that on the other side. And it does make a super job. So there we are, both sides done. I'm going to give that a really good press. Nice dry iron is perfectly fine. So now it's a case of just stitching those ends together. So you're stitching the main fabric and the lining piece together. It's like a top stitch you're doing, just to join those. Neaten that off, and that'll look super on your bag. So main fabric bottom, main fabric top, and those short ends are the ones that you need. So just be aware of that. That's your short side of your top of your bag. And those 2 to go together. And that's the lining. Again, it's the short edge. That's the long I just put down there. That's the short. And that's the correct way. So just join those together. And again, just stitch all the way along. So you're going to repeat that for both sides. And there we are, both stitched beautifully. Pop that to one side. And there's our main bag ready. So what we're going to do now is you can see I've already made the bag straps up. So we've put the zip stand down first, and I'm measuring 3.5 inches from the outside edge each side of the zip stand, and that's going to be the middle of where my straps are going to go. So it's the right side of your strap that's facing down onto that zip stand. Mind you don't twist your strap, and exactly the other side as well, and clip that together. So you've got your main bag, the zip stand, the straps, and then you're going to put your zip panel over the top of that, and of course that's going to go right side down. Now I stitched all of those layers together first, and then I stitched my lining over the top. And it worked perfectly fine. But you could put your lining down now, right side down, and stitch that all in one go. You can see how that's going to look when that's stitched together. So that's the look that you're trying to achieve. And you're going to repeat it the other side. So there we are. So that's both sides done now. The lining has been attached. And I did, like I said, I did that afterwards. And that's how that looks. And you could give that a really good press now. So this is how the bag looks when you've done that piece, when you've completed that section. Make sure the zip works fine. Make sure the handles are in the right place. You've got time to adjust those if they're not quite right. Now bring your main body of your fabric together and your lining together. So that's right sides together of both of those pieces. And this is where we're going to put the gusset in. So you've got a gusset for the main outer bag and then another separate gusset for the lining. So this is your main bag gusset, and you're going to start 1/4 of an inch into your fabric, so that leaves you a little overhang of about 1/4 of an inch. So I'll show you there, look, you're going to start, well, you're going to go all the way around, and that's your main bag gusset. Please remember to open your zip at this point. And then you're going to repeat that for your lining. So you can see that's all completed now, all the way around. And you'll be able to trim your gusset to fit. It's probably a couple of inches too long, which is great. It means we've got an option there. And don't forget to leave your turning part of your bag. So a good 5 inches, it's a big bag. So turn it through once you've completed all that. Now don't forget the pieces at the end of the zip, where the gusset is, that hasn't been stitched just yet. So let's just see how it looks. So pull it all through. Get all those corners out. It'll all push out beautifully. And obviously you may have clipped your curves as well, which will always help. So let's see. Yep, that all looks great. See if the zipper works fine. Yep, super. Doesn't that look great? So now what we need to do is actually stitch up the ends. So you'll see now that those need stitching. We've still got raw edges there. So across both ends. So what we need to do is open up that zip again, pull out your lining, and then put your right sides together with the lining on the outside. You can see as I pull it through how that's going to look. And once that's all pushed through, which it nearly is, just pop it under your machine again, or hand stitch if you prefer, and just stitch those ends up. And you should have 1/4 of an inch overhang both sides quite easily, and you're just going to stitch across that opening there, both sides, top and bottom. So I've finished stitching the ends where my gusset ends as well, near where the zip is. So I've gone right across both ends there. So now I'm going to turn it through, and that should be a completed bag. I just need to stitch the gap closed, but let's have a look and see how it looks. And then what I'll do is I'll go away and give it a good press, and then I'll come back to you. So let's have a look. I really like the size of this bag. It's going to be so useful. I like it, it's quite pretty as well, isn't it? So let's have a look. Give it a bit of a shake. Get those corners out. Smooth off those pieces there. Like I say, it needs a good press. And where we've stitched those ends, I would suggest you give that a good press. So can you see that's the ends? So I would just get my iron on that, on the lining side. Just get your iron in there and just sort of give it a little poke. And then, so let's have a look, see what it looks like. There we go. Well, that's not so bad at all, is it? Really quite pretty. Just needs a really good press, and we've done. So I'll go away and do that, and I'll come back and show it off. So there we are, there's the finished bag. So this is the carpet bag. It's a really good size. So the features are, you've got the handles there, so that's something perhaps you want to consider what you're going to put there. You've got the overhanging zip. Can you see either end there? It just sort of overhangs slightly. Love the lime colour. And obviously that opens up really quite large. I've got stuffing in there, so it pads it out for you. So there we are. So the ends have been pressed nice and neat now. You can see that's all nicely done. We've got the zip stands, so it protects the handles a little bit. You know what, if you make another one, why didn't you pop a pocket on the front and inside the lining as well? So all the lining has been stitched up, it's all complete. It's all ready for me to go shopping.